Hi everyone, welcome to this new video. My name is Aditya, and on this channel I talk about Kubernetes, blockchain and software engineering in general. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about MCP servers, like what they are, how they work and the internals of them as well. A quick introduction about myself. I am Aditya. I'm working as a senior software engineer at Walmart. I'm also a CNCF Cube astronaut and recently became the Google developer expert for the cloud. And let's talk about what MCP servers are. So basically MCP stands for Model Context Provider. And if we try to, break down this term, what this actually means is, so model here refers to our AI LLM models. They can be, for example, it can be GPT, it can be cloud models, any models, right? Then context refers to giving the context to these AI models, to these AI LLMs. And protocol is a set of standards or a set of predefined rules, right? So model context protocol is a protocol that basically allows you to uh, define the context so that these LLM can, respond better. So you can think of MCP servers as a USB port for AI applications, and I'll talk about what actually this means. So when you see a typical USB-C port, with the help of that single USB-C port, you can connect various peripherals to your machine, for example, your laptop, right? You can connect your cameras, you can connect your microphone, you can connect your mobile phone. So anything can be connected with the help of this single USB-C interface, right? So same is what MCP server is for AI model side. You just have to use the MCP protocol, and the MCP protocol can enable you to connect to various different models with your applications. So MCP provides a standardized way for us to connect to these AI models and different data sources and tools. So with the help of this MCP protocol, you can connect various models to various data sources, right? And MCP protocol was developed by Anthropic, which is the creator of the Claude. That it's a AI tool that we use in day-to-day life. Now you can think of MCP servers as what REST API is in web development. So if you have ever encountered or worked on the REST API development, you can compare it with MCP, what MCP is in the AI ecosystem. Basically, this helps you in connecting your AI applications with the different data sources. Now, why does this MCP exist? Why can't we go ahead or connect our AI applications directly to these models, right? So why does this MCP exist? Now MCP provides us a consistent way with the tools that allows us to connect our AI applications to these models, right? So it provides us a consistent way. Now, if I try to illustrate this with the help of this diagram, here you can see that for every tool that we have, for example, if you see the left side, for every tool that we have, for example, database, the cloud storage, or for example, Git, for every model that you have, for example, GPT, Claude, or Gemini model, you have to write that number of integration, right? So for this, in this particular example, if you have three models and three sources, three tools, you have to write an integration, because for each model, you will be going to write a separate integration, right? What MCP shines here is that MCP provides you an interface, right? It's just a protocol. What in modern cloud development or web development, we have something called as HTTP as a protocol, right? So similarly, with the help of that MC protocol, we can connect our AI models to these data sources, right? You just write one implementation, one MCP server, and that can connect or to these different sources, and our AI models can interact with the help of that MCP server to these downstream systems, right? So this is where MCP shines in. And if you see now that you just have to write only n implementations, right? Or n connections will be established, right? So this is where MCP shines, right? Because if in future, if you plan to extend more tools or more models, you just have to write that number of implementations. But when you use MCP, you just have to write one implementation, and with the help of that single implementation, you can connect various different models to your tools. And what other advantage we have with MCP servers is that AI models often lack the domain context, right? They are unaware of the domain. And MCP helps us in, injecting the user sessions with the specific information. It helps us in dynamic prompt engineering, right? On the runtime itself, we can directly inject the prompts, and it helps us in, improving of the accuracy. Like our models will be hallucinating less, and the accuracy internally will get increased because of the context that we are providing on the runtime. Now let's talk about the architecture of the MCP. So if you see on the left side, we have MCP host, right? It can be your cloud desktop, it can be your IDs, for example, VS Code, IntelliJ, it can be any ID, or it can be a mobile application or a web applications that has the AI capabilities, right? Now, now we have something called as MCP server. These are the implementations that as a developer you are going to write, right? So you will be defining up all the MCP tools, the prompts or the resources, and we'll talk about what these are or how to actually build the MCP server. So as a developer, it's your responsibility to build these MCP servers, and then these MCP servers can connect to the downstream systems, right? They can connect to your local file systems, they can connect to databases, or they can connect to any service which is on internet, right? It can connect to Slack, it can connect to your GitHub, right? It can connect to any system, any downstream systems, and the implementation is what you are going to provide in the MCP server, right? So your MCP client, they are going to reside inside your MCP host, and most of the time, if you're using any of these MCP hosts, the client is available by default, right? So you don't have to write the client by yourself. But if you're building a custom applications where you are not leveraging Claude or your IDs or any AI tool, right, then in that case, you are going to write your own implementation that is going to connect to or talk to MCP servers, and then MCP servers can connect to the downstream systems, right? So this is high level what the architecture of MCP looks like, right? And here I have, mentioned that what exactly these components means, right? So MCP host are basically the programs like Claude, desktop, your IDs, your, AI tools, which has the capability of, and which has the capability of MCPs, right? Then you have MCP client, and these client implements the MCP protocol, and they maintain one-to-one connection with the MCP servers. Now, what MCP servers are? These are the lightweight program that you as a developer is going to write, and they expose certain capabilities, right? So they will be exposing certain capabilities, and the AI model can use these capabilities in order to perform any operation that user wish to perform on those downstream systems, right? Then we have data sources. Now, the data source can be either your local data source, something which is available on the machine itself, on your local machine itself, or the services can be, running somewhere outside on the internet, right? So it can be any, for example, it can be GitHub, which is running, obviously as a cloud offering. So anything which is running on not on your machine, that's a remote service. So this is what the MCP architecture looks like. Now let's talk about how these MCP servers, communicate. So they use something called as a transport layer, and behind the scene, this transport layer is responsible for handling the communication between the client and the server. And how does it actually happens is, so if you see this particular illustration here, you can see that for whenever user, there is a entity called user, and user is going to write some prompts, and then these prompts are, passed to the MCP clients, and then MCP clients are connecting to the MCP server either via JSON RPC protocol or via standard input output mechanism, right? And then these MCP servers might be connected to some source, data source. It can be local or the remote API or in external API, right? But essentially, your client is connecting to the MCP server via two methods. It can be either JSON RPC, where you define the HTTP REST endpoint, and the communication happens via that REST endpoint, right? Or the other method is standard input output, where you basically typically it uses standard input output mechanism for establishing up the communication between client and the server. Now, this is how typically the JSON RPC looks like. So we know that what JSON is. It's just a structure. So here you can see that this is the sample JSON that I mentioned here. And RPC is a remote procedure call, which means whenever you are making a JSON RPC request, you give the payload. And the payload will be in the JSON format, and you additionally define which function needs to get executed, right? And that function gets executed on the remote machine. So that's why it's called as remote procedure calls, like the procedures or the functions that stored somewhere remotely onto any remote machine, and these procedures are called remotely, right? So this is how JSON RPC looks like, and we have two transport methods. either you can use standard input output, which is good for local development. So if you're doing a local development, you can always go ahead and use the standard input output transport, or you can use streamable HTTP transport where the communication is happening over the HTTP endpoint. And it does also support streamings as well. So if you have ever used any, for example, if you're using Claude or, Chat GPT, you'll be seeing that whenever you ask for any query, these models give you the response in the form streams, right? They will be writing character by character or word by word. So that is what we call it as streaming. So these the JSON RPC based implementation supports streamable HTTP transport, where the communication between client and server happens via the HTTP protocol. And typically, when the client want to interact with the server, it is going to make a HTTP post call, right? So it sends the HTTP post call, and the server responds back to the client. So now this is how the configuration looks like in both the cases. So on the left side that you see, this is the HTTP based connection, right? And in your client, for example, if you're using Claude or your any ID, so in that case, you're going to give this configuration because these IDs or these tools, they already have the MCP capabilities, and they can directly connect to the MCP server. So for example, if you are using a remote or a JSON RPC based transport, HTTP transport, so where you can see that you have to give the URL, right? And this is going to be the endpoint of your MCP server, right? So you have to give the endpoint of your server, right? It can be, if it is running locally, it will be localhost colon the port number slash MCP, or if it is running somewhere on machine, then it will be the IP address or the domain name. Anything can be defined. Then you define the type as HTTP because it's a HTTP based MCP integration. And then if your MCP server requires certain headers, then you can define those in the header section, right? Now, when you go ahead with the standard input output based connection, you can simply define the command, right? You can define the command. For example, in this case, I'm defining the command as inpx, and as I'm passing the the arguments here, right? And then I have to define the type as a standard input output stdio. So once you define this, your MCP clients can use this configuration and connect to the MCP server, right? So in this particular case, in the standard input output case, that the example that I've shown here, your MCP client is going to run this command and connect and trying to connect to the MCP server. So this is what is happening here. So the MCP community is growing at a very fast pace, right? I have mentioned some of the MCP servers here, but for every data source that you have, you will be able to find MCP server already there. And most of the companies or these cloud companies, they have their own MCP servers using which you can communicate to their systems with the help of your AI tools that you're using, either you're using Claude or your IDs. So with the help of those tools, you can directly communicate to these services without actually going to their website or portal. You can just directly ask your AI tools to do certain operations, and they can connect to those services with the help of MCP servers and get the operation done for you. It for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy this video, then please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.